Our keynote speaker is a writer, poet, and not one time, not two times, but three times Na Hoku Hano Hano award-winning rapper from Kauai of Italian and Filipino descent. Since he debuted as a writer 2 years ago, his work has been published in magazines and journals like Honolulu Magazine, Bamboo Ridge, the Hawaii Review of Books, and New Zealand's Takahe magazine. As a musician, his music has been streamed millions of times around the world, and he's been quoted or covered in some of the biggest news and culture in publications in the world, including New York Magazine, Vulture, US Weekly, Billboard, Deadline, the Daily Mirror, and many more. That's all I could fit for today. In all his work, he seeks to strip away the harmful veneer of Hawaii as a paradise in favor of a more complex, more honest portrayal of our home. Graduates, faculty, staff, family, and friends, please welcome our keynote speaker, Thomas Iannucci.
How's it, everybody? How you guys doing? Not too bad, huh? I promise I can keep this short. 2 hours. Then we take dinner break and we come back for another hour at the end. So, nah. I trust my luck. I can put this down. Thank you, everybody, to the administration, the students, the staff, faculty, everybody here for having me. It's truly an honor, and honestly, it's kind of surreal because I am a former student. I am an alumnus of this college. I graduated from KCC. Thank you. And I never learned too much, as you can see. This whole speech can be like that, by the way. So, but not just a graduate of KCC, but I am a member of the very first cohort of the Waialeale Project, which enabled me to attend this school and University of Hawaii and get associate's degree and a bachelor's because I couldn't afford to go to college and they paid my whole way. So this is a very, very full circle, very special moment for me. With that said, for real kind, I'm gonna keep this short because I know everybody thinking, hurry up already, I like go eat. So with that said, this year's Olelo Noyao is Lawe I Kama'alea Aku Ono Ono. Take wisdom and make it deep. In other words, if you want to become really good at anything, you gotta study hard and practice a long time until it gets deep inside you, until it becomes a part of you. There's good advice, and it's the kind that will serve you well long after you guys graduate. But it's pretty deep and might be a little bit difficult for grasp, so in order to illustrate my point, I'd like to tell you guys a little story, a very embarrassing, traumatic one, about a time I learned this lesson the hard way. So, early in my career as a rapper, if you can call it a career, I got the opportunity to record a song with one big-time producer, and I'm not gonna say who, but the bugger was major. Then, award winner, recorded Snoop Dogg, all those guys. I'm old, you know, so it was a big deal back then. But I was super excited, not intimidated at all, because at the time I was having a little bit of success locally, like really little bit. But I was feeling very confident in myself leading up to that day. Big mistake. So I go to the studio, talk story, smoke kind with the producer, and got ready for record. Now up to that point, I'd always perfectly memorized all my lyrics when I was recording or performing or anything. It was actually a point of pride of mine. I never had to write anything down. I could walk into the booth and record straight off the top of the dome, easy, like butter. So I was very sure of myself that day, until I actually stepped into the recording booth. Then all of a sudden, I'm still getting flashbacks right now. All of a sudden, the pressure was on and it all started to hit me. Like, hey, this really is a big deal. Like, it could be career making for me. You know, like, it's a lot on the line. Maybe if I impress this guy, he can connect me with some other big industry people. So, put up or shut up. Now's the time, you know, And I choked, completely froze. Turned on the music, went for record. I started for rap. And suddenly, I forgot all my lyrics, everything. It was unreal. It was like I got hit in the head, amnesia or something like that. is the craziest thing that ever happened to me. And the producer is just looking at me like, you good? What's going on? And you know, we tried a couple times. I tried for fake it, play it off, but I just couldn't remember nothing. And the producer is like, well, you better pull out your lyrics so you can read them while you rap. And I had to look this big time producer in the eye and tell him I never print out my lyrics and I never write them down, I never put them on my phone, nothing. I had nothing. And he was like speechless. Like, I still trauma bonding with you guys right now, just like remembering all this stuff. It's my Vietnam flashbacks, but he was in disbelief. How could I be so unprofessional, so unprepared, so stupid? And he stopped the music, stopped the session, pulled me out of the booth, and sent me home. Like, he told me, hey, never come in here unprepared like that ever again. I'm a busy man and I got stuff to do. So don't be coming in here and wasting my time. Well, I felt like a kid getting sent home from school, you know. But worse, because this had never happened to me before. But even worse than that, he was like, you know what? I will keep your money that you paid for this session, because it's the only way you're gonna learn your lesson. And it was big money for me at the time, like a couple $100. It's still big money for me because I broke, but you know, so. But I guess I must have looked pretty pathetic, because after that, he's like, nah, you know what? I just can't do that. Just get out of here. I can't even look at you right now. So that was pretty nice. Actually, obviously, it was so shame. It was traumatizing, as you can see right now. Oof. I was ready to just quit music altogether, just like that. Hang up the mic, go work construction or something, I don't know. I was stunned. And then, to add salt to the wound, after all that, he'd call me later that night. And he wasn't even mad anymore. He gave me a pep talk. Oh, somehow it's worse. He told me, you know, I learned a hard lesson. And he told me not to show my face around him until I was ready, but to make sure that I did show up again. It was on challenge, you know. Like, am I going to just give up? Or am I going to dig deep and push through this? How bad did I want it? Most guys just wanted to give up. Just being real. But even though I wanted to quit and just dig a hole to China and just never show my face again, I did want to be a rapper more. I wanted it so bad since I was in high school. It was like a dream of mine. So, you know, I prayed about it, I dug deep, made up my mind, and then I got down to business. When I tell you guys, I rehearsed that song till I was sick of it. Yeah, you guys have no idea. Day after day, week after week, for over a month, just grinding on that single song. You could have woke me up in the middle of the night and I could have rapped that bugger to you backwards and in Spanish. I probably still could, to be honest, but no test me out, because probably not. But I was very determined because I was traumatized, obviously, and I really never let that happen to me ever again. So finally, after a month or so of practicing, I called a guy up. I told him I was ready. Because this time I knew I was. I never just breezed into it. Never come in with one chip on my shoulder. I came in prepared. And that made all the difference. So, now we're going to put a pin in that story. Real quick, just circle back, Bombay. But first, really fast, I'd like to talk a little bit about what we can learn from this very traumatic experience of mine. So hopefully it's not a total waste, you know. So there's 3 lessons that I learned that day. 3 things I wish somebody would have told me earlier in life, for example, when I was graduating. See how it all ties together. So, lesson number 1, excellence takes time. You cannot rush perfection, and practice really does make perfect. Cliche, but it is true. I never come prepared the first time I went into the studio. I thought I'd work hard at my craft, but I was so wrong. True hard work takes time, and you're never going to regret over-preparing. We live in an age of instant gratification. Social media has shortened our attention spans. People don't even watch YouTube videos anymore. They watch YouTube shorts. Ugh. Me too, you know. But the point is, we don't like strive for anything these days. We don't like wait. We don't like take time. But honestly, just like watering a seed that will someday grow into a tree that bears good fruit, so too, investing your time in yourself, in acquiring skills, in achieving your goals, those things will pay dividends for the rest of your life. Water break. Stand by. Shaden, you never get a pic of me drinking that water. Aye, what kind of photograph are you? Aye. Anyway, lesson number 2. Ego is poison. Humility is key. When I went into the studio that first time, honestly, I was pretty arrogant about it. Like I said, I went in there with a chip on my shoulder, and I thought I was going to show this mainland producer that I was the real deal. And I showed him all right. I thought I was guaranteed everything was going to go my way because I had worked hard previously as a rapper, and I had worked hard on that song. But I never worked hard preparing for that session. I felt entitled. Like, because I'd worked hard in the past, I never need to work hard now. And that is never a good headspace for being. Unfortunately, these days, we live in a time where we kind of encouraged to have like a victim mentality. And while it's true that many of us have had our share of struggles, and we should always be kind and compassionate, because we truly never know what other people are going through in their lives. The honest truth is this: you are not guaranteed anything in this life. And nobody owes you anything either. It's not popular for say, but it's really important to hear. I thought I was going to breeze in and out that day because it was my destiny, but it wasn't. You got to work hard for what you want. And sometimes you're still not going to get them anyway. That's life. But I promise you guys, when you actually accomplish something you'd work hard for, there's no better feeling in the world. Lesson number 3, last one. Then we get out of here. No be shame. There's nothing wrong with failure. In life, you will fail more times than you can count. And that's okay. There's no shame in failing. It's how we deal with our failure that determines our success. Another way to think of it is that shame and ego are the enemies of success. I could have given up. Could have quit rapping. But then I wouldn't be here today, putting you guys to sleep with my speech. And hey, life happens. Like these days, I hardly even rap anymore, to be honest. And from a certain perspective, you could say my rap career ultimately failed, because I never turned into the next Kanye West. But I think that's a good thing in the end. But through all that time rapping, I learned skills and made connections that enabled me to pivot and allowed me to achieve my first lifelong dream of being a published author. Now I signed with a literary agency, I get one book coming out. And surely none of that would have happened if I just had give up on music that day. Or if, when I started to realize music wasn't going to work out, I just threw a tantrum and never dust myself off and start writing instead. And that was super tempting, just to quietly give up. Because in Hawaii, we so shame about everything. But that shame is a lie. So, back to the story. There we pop. Like I said, circling back, I practiced really hard that month. I came to the studio prepared, focused, ready to roll. And when I got there, the producer looked at me and said, "So what? You ready?" And I'd look at him and say, "I'm ready." And I went in there for a record. Now, even though, like I said, I'd memorized my lyrics backwards and forwards, you better believe I had a printed copy. Plus, a copy saved to my phone. And I emailed myself a copy, so worst come to worst, I could put the lyrics up on his computer. Everything else went wrong. I wasn't just prepared. I was super, mega, major, ultimate prepared. And it paid off. I got in the studio, I recorded that bugger in one crack. Perfect, nailed it, one take. You guys know how hard that is. This almost never happens in my whole life of recording. But I was prepared. And so, as I was basking in the glory of my redemption, having redeemed myself after all, the producer turned to me and he said, "Bro, I'm so sorry, but I forgot to hit record." So it never saved anything that we just did. Story of my life. After all that, my perfect take, up in smoke. But you know what? It was all good because I was ready. So I was able to do it again. Not in one take, unfortunately, but the point is we got it done. And the song did come out awesome. And this time was the producer who was so ashamed. He was like, "I can't believe it. I've never had something like this happen to me before. I'm so sorry." And I told him, "Hey, don't worry about it. But next time, just make sure you prepare that." Mahalo nui, guys, and congratulations to the graduating class of 2026.